On the heels of what Nicki Minaj said about trans kids, I want you guys to see this video.
This is a day that for a while Leah hoped would never come. She told us as much a couple years ago.
We just have our whole life here, and the last thing I want to do would be have to move.
But now, at the age of 15, Leah and her parents, John and Mary, have decided they must move. They've packed their entire life into boxes, prepped for the truck in their driveway. They're leaving Texas for Colorado, seeking refuge in a state with friendlier policies for transgender kids like Leah.
I've lived here pretty much all my life, so definitely it's going to be a big change.
Leah came out as trans several years ago. First, she transitioned socially, changing her name and her clothes. She did years of counseling, started on puberty blockers, and just over a year ago began taking estrogen. Those steps are all considered gender-affirming care, which is endorsed by major U.S. medical associations.
Now, after seeing that video, does that look like a family that does not love their child? That picks up all of their things and moves halfway across the country because they want their child to be in a safe, S-A-F-E, a safe environment. Because you all have made it unsafe, thinking that you know better for someone else's child than they do. This is a crazy time to be alive. Like, do you realize how crazy it is to have a problem with trans people? Like, let's just stop for a moment and unpack this. You are upset at me because I am trans, because you want to have some sort of control, impact, influence, say in my existence, right? Now, if I turn around and say uno reverse, I think you're too fat. I don't like that haircut on you. I don't like those pants. They make you look fat. I don't think that you should date him. He seemed abusive to me. You would tell me to mind my own business. That is your life. That you get to make the choices. You get to call the shots. But somehow, when you're trans, everyone feels that they have a say in the choices that you make for yourself. That's one of the reasons that's how I came to be comfortable in my skin as a trans woman. One day when I was early on in my transition, when I was thinking about people in my family, because that is part of your thought process when you begin to decide to transition or not to transition. How will it impact my family? How will it impact the people that I love? Will they still care about me? And then one day, I just had this epiphany. I thought to myself, my aunt's husband has cheated on her multiple times. He has had children outside of her marriage, and she is still with this man. My other aunt, her husband touched her daughter, and she is still with that man. My uncle used every substance known to man, and he is still invited to the family barbecue. But because I'm trans, I'm the pariah. I'm the outcast. The math is not mathing. Things are not adding up around here. And when I had that moment of awareness that none of the people who are judging me would change their life and their situation based on my thoughts of them, why would I change my desire, my passion, my conviction for my life for their convenience, for their acceptance, because they don't give a damn about my acceptance. When you're trans, acceptance only works in one direction, and that direction is you needing acceptance for them. It doesn't work in the direction of them needing acceptance from you. And that was that was an awakening for me. And I say all that to say, when I watched Nicki Minaj on the stage with Kirk, and she's talking about trans kids, I found it so interesting that she said at one point, even trans adults don't believe that trans kids should transition. Which, if you're not intelligent enough to read between the nuance, is her trying to placate adult trans people. Like, I'm not talking to you. This is about trans kids. And see, this is the divide and conquer thing that they like to do. This is how they divide black from white, black from Hispanic, trans from cis. Like, they like to create all of these groups. Now, even now with the LGBTQ community, they're trying to separate the L, the G, and the B from the T because they want you to think that, oh, it's not you. It's them. And so when she talks about trans kids and adults agreeing with her that kids shouldn't. I don't agree in having a stake on a child that is not being abused. I don't agree in having a stake in a child that I'm not in a home with, that I don't understand the ins and outs of the existence of that child. The parents understand that. And again, when it comes to kids transitioning, there's two things for me. The first thing is, kids are not transitioning. Kids are receiving gender-affirming care. That's a completely different thing. Okay? Gender-affirming care means that they may get to dress in clothing that aligns with the gender that they identify with. They may have puberty blockers. Puberty blockers that are given to cis children who may experience advanced puberty. The same puberty blockers that are, again, given to cis girls and boys are the same ones that are given to trans kids. Now, they're given with a different intent, a different purpose, but it's the same ones. Huh? Are you here? It's the same ones. The second thing is that when you see kids transition, just like in this story, it's normally, or I shouldn't say transition, when you see kids receiving gender-affirming care, it's typically coming from a loving two-parent family household. We have foster kids throughout. You can go on any American street and see homeless kids all over, displaced, unloved, unhoused, hungry, and you'll walk right past them. Ain't my problem. Ain't my struggle. FITFO, that's FITFO, figure it out, is the disposition that most people will take. Until it comes to a trans child. Oh, we gotta stop it. Oh, too much. Nope. The intervention is a must. These parents have lost their minds. The doctors know not what they speak. Society has run amok. Okay? This is where we draw the line. Not these good middle class kids. Not them. Not these kids of the upper echelon, the upper tier, the upper crust. Not them. Because you guys don't really care about kids. You couldn't. We wouldn't have a foster care system if you did. Because you guys would be grabbing these kids up and loving on them. Now, you'll prevent LGBTQIA+ plus people from adopting and loving kids under the guise of protecting them. But at the same time, you don't want to have anything to do with these kids. You put them in the foster care system where they're abused, where they are financially abused. I mean, and abused in every possible way imaginable. America is the dumbest country on the face of the earth. People in America are dumb. Stupid. And even when you watch what's happening with this whole thing with Nicki Minaj and Turning Point USA, I've watched content creators, black cis women, a lot of them, not all. I said a lot of them, not all, because I know a lot of you have selective hearing. Shout out to the ones who get it, because if you get it, you got it. But I see a lot of them who will specifically mention what Nicki Minaj said about black women, but completely exclude what she said about the trans community, and not understanding that that's the problem. Because if Nicki Minaj had gone on that show and only said what she said about trans kids, they would have, this would not be a story. This would not be a story. This would be much ado about nothing. A lot of the same people who are offended about what she said about black women would be clapping hands, high-fiving, in complete and total agreement about what she said about trans kids. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do to get you guys to understand that trans people are not the problem. The people who are making the choices and decisions for you, that's the problem. Do not be fooled by what's being put in front of your face. Move the hand and look behind it. That's all I got. Comment below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you feel inclined. If you don't feel like you want to subscribe, then don't. But if you do, thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.